Good evening, cheeseheads, and welcome to another Tottenham Hotspur Cheese Room podcast. I'm hosting tonight because obviously the other guys in the cheese room are struggling to get on, so you're stuck with me. But please go easy on me because it is my first time. I've got two guests with me at the minute. We've got one on the way back from the pub. So my first guest tonight is chairman and founder of the Worcestershire Spurs, an old pal of mine and the biggest one-eyed Tottenham monster I know. It's Darren Atwood. How are you, Daz? Buzzing for the weekend, mate?
Yeah, can't wait, mate. It's been long awaited. Can't wait to get back at it.
Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it? Full of excitement, full of optimism. And a second guest tonight, all the way from Wexford in Ireland, from Tottenham Till I Die YouTube channel, is Dermot. How are you, Dermot? All right, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing grand, man. How are you? How are you this evening?
I'm fine, thank you, mate. Looking forward to this chat about Spurs.
Oh, yeah. Anytime we talk about Spurs is a good time. That's what it's all about. It's all about talking about Spurs and enjoying ourselves.
You got it, mate. Good man. Right, before we get into the main stuff, got to do some boring housekeeping. If everybody in the chat could hit the like button, that'd be great. It helps the algorithm, whatever that is, and helps our channel grow. So if you could do that for us, that'd be brilliant. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And keep your comments coming, and we'll try and put them up on the screen. I'll do my best to do that because James is my techno guy, and he's not here at the minute. So I'll try and keep up with as many as I can. And follow us on the socials. Get involved with everything we do. We're hoping to put out a lot more content when the season starts next week. So if you could do that, that'd be brilliant. So we'll get straight into the nitty gritty. This week, Rodon has left us to go to Rennes. Loan fee with apparently a buy option for about £20 million. What do you think to that, Daz?
It's just been one of them. I think he's been caught in between a couple of managers, hasn't he? Really, I think he was a bit of a desperate buy for Mourinho. Just wanted another body in, and he's never really been utilised. Decent player, young kid, isn't he? But it'll probably do him good to have a season of football, I think. And if you get 20 million for him, then it's good business, isn't it? It's a shame for him. Like I said, I think he's a decent player. He looks good on the ball and stuff. But if you've got the confidence in him at the top level, possibly not. We're looking at a little bit higher than Europa Conference League and stuff this year, aren't we? So, and it's obvious probably that Conte doesn't really fancy or trust him. So, it'll do him good to have a year of football and obviously gets another player off the books.
Yeah.
And clears the space up for hopefully a couple more signings. So.
Yeah, well, he does need to play games, doesn't he? Because he needs to obviously play those 3 games that Wales will play in the World Cup. What do you think, Dermot?
I think it's a good move for him. I don't think it really ever worked for him at Tottenham. I don't think the games he has played, he was never really good enough. So I think the move's good for him. Going to another league, another country, it's good for him personally, I think, as well. And I wish him all the very best. It didn't work out for us, but who knows? It could turn out to be a great defender in the French league. So all the very best, and I hope it goes well for him.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, that he never really seemed good enough. I'm not saying he was good enough, but he didn't really. My thing about it was that no manager seemed to fancy him more than him not being good enough. Because I get what you're saying, but it's just like nobody ever really seemed to fancy him, did he? Jose never, Nuno never. I suppose you can count Mason, and now Conte hasn't really fancied him. But I think when you see him play for Wales, he looks decent. There's a decent player in there. So do you think he'll do well enough to come back, Daz? Or do you think that's probably it now? We've probably seen the end of Joe Rodon at Spurs.
He possibly will have a good season there. I mean, the French league, can you compare to the Premiership? Probably not. He just comes across as, he's a decent, hard-working kid. He struggled a bit start of last season, didn't he, with injuries and when Nuno was there, and he didn't really get fit till later in the year. I think it was November time.
Yeah.
And then obviously Conte had come in then. He had his structure and had the team that he sort of picked then really for the rest of the season. So It's a difficult one, but again, we seem to collect. I hate using the term like dead wood, but we seem to collect a lot of these players and sort of keep them there for a while when we're not utilising them and not using them. Where it just frees up another space, as I say, for somebody that Conte wants to use, and hopefully, as I say, we can still bring in another centre back, which I think we need. We'll talk about that later, obviously. But I just think it's a good move all round for both. Like I said, he gets game time, he keeps fit for the World Cup.
Do you get the old sorry, Atdaz, do you get the old Callum Davenport vibes about him? That type of signing?
Not that bad. Not that bad. But yeah, I mean, it's just another, a young kid that's, with potential. We bought him, and you could tell straight, Mourinho when we bought him in last sort of minute, he was never a first choice. He was never Mourinho's first choice. He wanted several players ahead of him, and we sort of just got another body in, didn't we? Really, at the time. Yeah. But there you go. I mean, I've said he is a good footballer. I think he's a young kid, and it'll do him a world of good playing in a different league. And again, all around, if they're happy with him, if he's enjoying the year over there, if you've got 20 million euros or whatever it is for him, then I mean, you're not losing anything, No. So there's it win-win for everybody, really. Then.
Yeah. Dermot, I thought there might be a bit more interest from, say, like Nottingham Forest, maybe Brighton, some teams like that. Maybe some top Championship teams, but more some Premier League teams. What do you think? Do you think that would have suited him better, or why do you think that never materialised?
I'm very surprised. No, Nottingham Forest or teams like that went for him. Either they've heard about his attitude is not good, apparently, and maybe a few things have put them off. But I think him going to France, I think, is a good move for him. I think, as Darren said, it gets it off the books, gets Conte a chance to bring in who he wants, and also it sort of gets him off the wage bill a little bit as well. And if we get money for him as well, then it's a bonus. He gets his game time for the World Cup, and I think he'll flourish in the French league. I think he just has to. I think there was some rumours last season, or just when he did come, he wasn't good in training. His attitude wasn't there. He was partying a lot. So maybe a move to another country might do him the world of good and make him settle down as a person. And maybe the player we all know that's probably in there will start to come out more.
Well, I personally wish him all the best. I think there is a decent player in there. I hope he does well. So, I mean, he will get picked for Wales in the World Cup. But so next, there's been a little bit of news tonight regarding early talks about a guy called Destiny Udogie, I believe you pronounce it. 19-year-old. I think he played 35 times for Udinese last year. He's a left back, but he looks like he could play left wing back. I watched, I did the old YouTube scouting video before I come on, and he looks fast and physical, and like he plays on the front foot, and he gets forward and gets in the box. So apparently, though, the deal looks like he'll be heading back there on loan this season. But yeah, that's come out of the blue tonight. So what do you think to that, Dermot? Have you seen any of him?
No, I haven't. Never heard of him, to be honest. I don't think he's a Conte type player. I think it's one of these. There's two brackets at Spurs. There's a Conte player, and then there's a board player. And I think this is more of a Levy player for the future.
Yeah,
I've never heard of him, and we've bought players like this before. We've wasted money, and they've never materialised to be any good.
It's a money-making player.
Yeah, exactly. Darren,
harvest them out on loan for a couple of years.
Yeah,
and then a bit like Rodon, really. You bought him for 10 million. And if you're going to potentially get 20, you've doubled your money. So Chelsea have done it for years.
Yeah,
they've had the 40, 50 players bought in, loaned them out. Sorry for jumping in then, but that's all he is. It's another night. It's one for the future. Then is the term they like to use, but he'll probably end up at Watford being a Udinese player. That's where they normally share him with, isn't it? But
who I would have gone for? Sorry, it's Lampard from Brighton. I love him as a player. I think he's a great little player. Yeah, he's a great little wing back. He's got the speed. He needs bulking up a bit. But that's who I would have gone for.
And it's the same. It's the safe and trusted process of Premiership proven. That's you can keep buying for the players for the future, but Premiership tested and what have you, and you get Lamptey for not much more. 25, 30 million probably.
He's always injured though, isn't he? He does get injured a lot.
He did have a long time out, yeah.
When we're talking about this Udogie guy, I mean, that's the same sort of figures that we were looking at Spence. We've brought Spence in. A lot of people think he can come straight in. I think he possibly could be off right wing back for the future, but I think he will take a few weeks, maybe months to learn the Conte way and force himself in there. Maybe that's what they're looking at. I know what you're saying about harvesting players. You're right. Chelsea have done it for years. 25 million's not, it's massive money to us, obviously, but in the wider scheme of things. So, I mean, not many of us know anything about him, really, apart from guys who do proper scouting and stuff like that. So, if he's going back on loan, it is what it is, isn't it? That's what we did with Sarr last year. So, hopefully he can go back and improve on what he's done the previous year. And he can improve next year and then come back and hopefully have some part in our team. But yeah, Daz, we've done that for a long time.
It's the same as Clark, isn't it? He's just gone to Sunderland, 10 million or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Never lost any money on him. I mean, he was a massive talent at Leeds, but again, he needed to bulk out. We've had it with our own that have come through, Pritchard, and Tom Carroll. Just off the top of my head, there's a player there, but you just never really bulk out and develop into that player that you think that they're going to. So, I get it, but bring back the days of the old reserve team football and instead of playing these under 23s and what have you. And
we got to move on.
Let them learn against proper men.
Yeah, but look,
really were the good old days.
Yeah. I think with that move, I think it's just watch this space, isn't it? Bit like with Sarr, we've seen a bit of him now. Right, guys, we will talk more about the same old transfer names people we're linked with a little bit later. But first, I'm going to bring up the... first of all, before I go on to the lads who went out on loan, rumours as well that Kion Etete, we're talking about harvesting players and selling them for more money. Apparently, Kion Etete could be heading out to Cardiff on a permanent deal, 500 grand. We bought him for 150 grand. It's not a massive make on him, but he was out on loan at Cheltenham last year and apparently did okay. What do you think to that one then, Daz?
Well, he's a lad that obviously getting to the age he needs football, doesn't he? And he's not going to get it with us. I've heard QPR were interested in him as well. I don't know how true that is, but he just needs football, doesn't he? And if it works for both parties, and then it's hopefully he's seen the levels that he wants to get to, and Cardiff's a big club, in the Championship, and he should do well there. They've just beat Norwich, haven't they? First game of the season, so good luck to him. Hope he goes there and develops, and you never know. We might be back in for him in the future, but I'm sure there'll be a buy-on clause.
Yeah. Dermot, what do you reckon? Good move for Etete?
I think so. He's at the age, as Darren says, he wants to play football, and if he's not going to get it with us, then get him, let him play, let him develop his career.
Good club to go to.
Huh?
Good club to go to, Dermot.
Yeah, Cardiff is a good club to go to. I think he'll do well there, and the very best of luck to him. And hope he develops and moves on. And I think he will. But I think the time was right.
Yeah, definitely. So now, we had obviously the two lads went out on loan last week. Troy Parrott went to Preston, which I thought was a decent move for him, and he started for them at the weekend. They brought him off, didn't they? Brought Ched Evans on, and he got sent off after about 8 minutes. But apparently Troy Parrott played well. The manager was impressed with him. Said he had a few chances. Looks like he can create quite a bit for them. So that's a positive move for him. What do you reckon of Troy Parrott, Dermot?
I think he's a great player. He's played well for us this summer for the national side. He's had a good summer. He's bulked up. He's come back with a different attitude, more like I'm going to prove that I want to be a part of this. I want to be part of Conte's plans. And I think it's a great move for Troy Parrott. I think he's going to do really well there. And once he starts going and getting the goals in, I think you can see a great player. And for us, he's been playing brilliantly the last few internationals as well. So he's getting there. He reminds me of Harry Kane. It took Harry Kane a long time to get going.
Yeah.
And once he got going, there was no stopping him. I think Troy Parrott's the same thing as well.
Yeah, obviously, if he's going to be playing more in the Championship for Preston and he starts playing well, then he will play more for the national team as well, which will benefit him. So, yeah, what do you reckon to that, Daz? What's your thoughts on Parrott?
I mean, the both of them, him and Scarlett, they've both got a good future ahead of them, haven't they? They've both got the work ethic, and like you said, it's just a case of developing. I mean, you look at Kane; he went through Norwich, Leighton Orient, Millwall,
Leicester,
and all Leicester. I mean, sometimes these loans can be a godsend, and they can really help bring a player on, and being involved in that dressing room atmosphere and teams getting used to him. But they've both got a great future, I think, and we've got a really good chance of one of those boys developing and obviously hopefully taking over the mantle from Kane. That's the ideal scenario, isn't it? And then we've got somebody else for the next 10 years to if the both of them develop and it's a win-win for everybody. But these loans are really important, I think, and I hope they both do really well in the leagues teams that they've gone to. So.
I mean, obviously we'll talk about Scarlett in a minute, but yeah, I think that's a decent move for Parrott if he can start scoring some goals. There's a lot of talent there. Oh, all right, James, how are you, mate?
I'm good. Sorry, I was at work leaving.
No, right, lads. Sorry. Dermot, Darren, this is James. He's my regular Wednesday club member, but I think he's late because he's popped out to the offie and bought himself a bottle of scotch. But he's here now.
This was a gift.
Mate, I'm bantering you. But
because it's the start of the season and we're all getting excited. So how are the future?
He's buzzing. But I think Parrott, decent move. So Scarlett, this time last week, we found out he was heading out on to Portsmouth on loan. Another decent loan, I think, for our younger players. I mean, not that I never want to criticise Poch, but there's one thing he didn't really do, did he? Get enough of our players out on loan. I didn't think that we could have, some of them could have done with a bit more loan time. But Scarlett's gone to Portsmouth. Like I said, decent move. League One. I think he came on as a sub last week with 15 minutes left. Did all right. James, did you see anything of that? Because you're heading to Portsmouth University, ain't you, mate? So did you see anything about that last week? The weekend, Scarlett playing?
Bits and pieces, not tons and tons, to be completely honest with you. Nothing informative as of yet. When I am living in Portsmouth, I will be sure to bring back scout reports, I promise.
Yeah.
So, actually, Carrie, I haven't. HG was much later once because he was watching football instead of being here. So there you are.
What's your thoughts on it, though, James, the move for Scarlett?
Oh, yeah, it's a brilliant move. Good move for him. Tough division to play in. Bottom line is young players need playing time to develop, right? It's the same. It's the same with anything. You need experience to develop. It's just life in general, I suppose.
100%.
And he probably wasn't going to get any minutes of Spurs, was he? Let's be honest. So yeah, it's a good move for him, and I can't really think of anything negative to say about that.
Right then, mate. Dermot, thoughts on Scarlett? Thoughts on the loan move?
I think it's a great move for him. I really do, and I'm a big fan of Scarlett's as well as Troy Parrott, and I'm delighted he got a new 3-year contract as well, Parrott, at the club as well. Scarlett, for me, what a talent. Jose Mourinho raved about him, and he really is a great talent. League One's not an easy league, but there's a progression in his career, and I think he'll do well at Portsmouth. I think he will. Once he gets a run of games and he gets scoring goals, you watch him. He'll take that league by storm because he's such a talent. He really is.
Fingers crossed, Dermot. Hey, Daz, what are you thinking?
as I say, it's a win-win. And Portsmouth again for that league is a big club. They're too good for League One. They should be Championship at least, shouldn't they? So he's going to be. They're a team that dominate a lot of their own games and stuff. So hopefully he's going to get a lot of chances created for him, and hopefully he'll get himself up well into the double figures, and it's a stepping stone. And then a Championship loan maybe next year. Maybe he's just a year behind probably Parrott in that development side of things, but. Like I said, we've got two great talents that we need to really, keep an hold of and let them have that game time.
Yeah, well, he is, isn't he, Daz? He is behind him. He's younger. He's not,
exactly.
He's a year behind him. Like you said, we need to nurture these talents, and hope if it's very rare that all these sort of young players that any team has all come through at once. But if you can get one or two through, you're not doing too bad, are you?
That's right. Yeah, we've had Skip recently, and we've had Mason and all that sort of thing. So just let them develop naturally. Don't put the pressure on them. Let them have these year loans. Let them be involved in other changing rooms. See what it's about. Going away in League One when it's freezing cold and rock hard pitches, and you get lumps kicked out of them and stuff. And that's how you toughen up in any walk of life, and hopefully it'll do them both really good, and come back stronger mentally and physically, and we'll be benefiting from it. So, yeah.
So, what we'll move on to now is, I think before we start getting into like stuff about the team and the weekend, a few little bits of transfer business that are popping up, aren't there? I mean, there's still the talk about Zaniolo and Maddison. Obviously, Newcastle put in that bid for Maddison. So we've sort of got a rough idea now how much he's going to cost. Now, there's people, all different people want different things. But what do you think between those two, Daz? What, Maddison, Zaniolo? If you had, your thoughts on both of them. But if you had to pick one, where would you go?
Neither.
You got to pick one, mate.
I don't think either of them suit us. I'll be perfectly honest. Zaniolo, injury prone, and obviously Premiership unproven. Maddison, okay, he's a good footballer. I don't think he quite suits Conte's style and what we need. I have question marks over him. I think he's a bit of a what's the word, enigma. I don't know. He's just a bit airy fairy. He's just not my type of player. He could turn. He could be a genius, couldn't he? He could be brilliant one week and the next week be the worst player on the park. And I just think there's better out there for that sort of money. I don't think Conte wants him. I think we'd have been in for him by now. I really don't see that Conte is overly struck on. I think we're being pushed with Maddison because of the English quota again. Yeah. I think that's the only reason we're being linked. I don't see it happening. I'll be honest. I think the Newcastle move will probably, or Arsenal. He could end up at Arsenal if they don't get Tielemans. But yeah, I don't see it being the right fit for us. I really don't.
I think the Maddison to Newcastle could happen because obviously they've got the money. What about you, Dermot? Maddison, Zaniolo, taking either? Neither?
Do you know what? I'd have to agree with Darren on this. I would have neither. Conte's already come out and said he doesn't want Maddison because of he doesn't like his attitude. So Conte's already said that in the press conference, or he said it to somewhere anyway.
Yeah.
The other player didn't play well against us when he came on Saturday in pre-season. He wasn't really good. I think there is, as Darren said, there is better players out there for that sort of money. But I think we need to prioritise on the centre-back more than a Cam.
Zaniolo did have Romero up his arse, didn't he? So, not many players play well with that type of pressure put on them. No, but I know what you're saying.
I think we need to look at a centre-back and a right wing-back. I think Emerson, if I was to sell out, I think Emerson needs to go. I'm never a big fan of Emerson. Doherty, I think it's great because he can play left and the right. But we need a centre-back and a right wing-back. And I think the Cam one could probably wait to January to see if we really need him because Kane can play there. So
Well, hold
I
that
wouldn't go
thought.
for either.
Hold that thought, Dermot, about where you want players to play, what positions you want us to strengthen. James, before Zaniolo, Maddison. I think you've said your preference before, or if you had the choice, neither. Go on.
Zaniolo, way more versatile. I think he's got a bit of shithousery about him that Maddison doesn't possess. Maddison is very much a forward line player, right? Whereas Zaniolo can play in a slightly deeper role, which is useful. In regards to what was said about Teal Evans, yeah, don't rate him. Not very good. This is a bit of a side tangent, which is known from me.
Go on.
I don't think the whole Premier League proven thing is particularly meaningful. Diego Costa wasn't Premier League proven when he signed for Chelsea and scored loads of goals. It doesn't really matter, right? Players either suit a system players suit a team or they don't. Zaniolo would suit Conte in the fact that he's very versatile, could play in a deeper midfield too, or he could play along the front line, which is kind of what we need, right? So I would take Zaniolo. Maddison, yeah, okay, if we were owned by trillionaires who wanted to spunk all their money on Spurs, sure, why not? 60 million or whatever it cost, go for it. Zaniolo would be much cheaper, 35, 40 probably, which is still stupid money, but you know what I mean, right? Like, he's going to be cheaper, and he's a bit more versatile. You know, people saying he's rubbish, but you know, how much have you seen of him? You know,
Transfers are all about opinions, aren't they? I mean, Bastoni was we've got to have Bastoni. He's the next best thing. Bastoni this, Bastoni that. How many times you watched him? Well, I haven't. He's just, like a lot of players that come from abroad, you don't know a lot about. But anyway, I think
we have bought injury prone before from Roma, haven't we?
Oh God, yeah. We don't want to be treading over that.
But
anyway,
bit is included in that as well.
But obviously, the Maddison and Zaniolo rumours keep coming up. Nothing will go away. Nothing's happening, but they're just at the minute. They're just rumours. Nothing concrete. So, we've had a decent window so far. We've improved the squad. I believe the squad is 100% definitely improved. I think there are certain positions that still need strengthening in the first team. What do you think, Dermot?
Centre back and a right wing back, because
hit me with some names as well, then, Dermot. What you're thinking?
Well, I think Savic. I think he's a good choice. I honestly do think for right wing back, I think Spence will be a sensation next year.
Yeah.
I think you send Emerson, keep Doherty as a backup. I think in Spence we've got the new Kyle Walker. I watched him a lot last season, and he was brilliant for Nottingham Forest. I think he is a talent. I really, really do. I think you go for. I don't think the Bastoni deal's dead. I really don't. I think this Paratici has been a bit of a don. I have to say this transfer window.
Yeah.
I think problem is you could pick players out of the sky, but if they come to us, will they be any good? I think you've got to get the player for that position. And I think that's what we've done right this transfer window. We've got players in. We've got Longley, I think, who was brilliant at the weekend. And I think Spence is going to be another great signing. But I would go for Lampy for the right wing back. Get rid of Emerson. If we can sell Doherty as well, yeah. Get Lampy and Spence as right wing back and get Savic in and centre back. And I think for me, I'd be happy with that if they do. But that for me would two good buys for me.
Yeah, happy days, James. What do you reckon, mate? Where can we improve the first team, and who would you like to realistically see us bring in?
Improve the first team, that's difficult, right? Because what is the big thing that we saw? In the most recent friendly against Roma, we had a lot of the ball, we had a lot of shots, but we didn't create any super, super great chances, right?
Didn't have any shots on target.
Yeah, exactly. We had like 10 shots, none on target, right? I think. So we need a midfielder who's very creative, and/or a right wing back who's very creative. Problem is, there's kind of not a surplus of really talented right wing backs. I look and I see maybe like Cancelo, Walker, Hakimi, like a few others, right? But there aren't like none of those guys are going to come to us realistically. So that's tricky. So I think you leave that out. We already have one of the best left wing backs in Europe in Paris. So then you're really looking at a midfielder who can be incredibly creative, right? And that's tricky. That is really tricky because Conte's not going to play a 3-5-2 every game. He's, in the Premier League, he's almost always played a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
So you need someone who can play in that deeper role.
It's difficult to come up with names, isn't it, James?
So tricky because who suits Conte? Like, does Maddison suit playing in that 2-man midfield? I don't know. I don't think so, right? Like, I look to Germany, I think maybe like Julian Weigl, almost. That's a huge pick, but I could see that working. Like Weigl. You look to like Italy. There are some options like the name has escaped my head. What's his face?
Oh, what's his face?
The guy who used to play for AC Milan a couple seasons ago, like back when he had the highest successful dribble rate of any midfielder. Not Kessie.
He went to Barcelona, didn't he? Well, mate, you're the wrong bloke here because
sorry.
Unless he played for Spurs in the 80s or 90s, I won't have a clue.
Next person to answer while I search his name.
You Google him.
Right. Bonaventura.
Bonaventura, wow, I've heard of him, but I've never really seen him, so I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I mean, so Daz, like I said, that squad, 100% better in your opinion, yeah? So we've got to go out. We're going to make 2 more signings, say, before transfer window shuts. Who would you bring in, possibly, and where to make that squad, that first team, better?
As I said to you earlier, I think I would love to think that we could still get somebody like Pau Torres. They desperately want Lo Celso, so hopefully there's some movement there. And we don't ask them for too much money, or they don't. We're asking too much, I think, for Lo Celso is the issue. But yeah, we need a good. As Dermot said, I think we need another good centre half. You're playing 3 constantly. You need, if you're going to play 3 centre backs, you need 5.
Yeah,
6,
at least
6 that can play there. You've got to be able to cover each position. So if you get a suspension and an injury, suddenly you're down to bare bones, aren't you? So I would like Pau Torres personally. Would be my priority. And this is where I think Conte's been quite cute. Where it sort of started to make sense with the Richarlison deal, the 60 million for him. As I said, I think he can play through the middle. He can play either side. His temperament is obviously a little bit questionable, but what I think he would do for us is he would free up Kane. And in the last 20 minutes of games when teams are really stretched and Kane struggling to run beyond, he can play that attacking midfield role. Put Richarlison through the middle, still have Son and Kulu either side. Yeah. And you've got a diamond and your wing backs in Perisic and whatever, and Spence or Doherty overlapping. You've got a really, really strong, attacking minded. Kane's passing ability is second to none, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he'll just drop off and let Son run beyond and let Kulu run beyond, and obviously Richarlison will just occupy the centre back. So I think that's where he's been quite cute with that transfer. Whether he can keep him happy is a different matter, because I don't think he's not nailed on starting 11 player.
No, he's not.
If we could get another player, obviously people have said Bastoni and whatever. I would love Hakimi, but the chances are
on your PlayStation, mate. You'll get him on your PlayStation.
It's on my son's FIFA, I think. That's where I'll probably.
Here's a name for you, right? I'm going to put this in the comments now. You having some of this? Traore from Wolves.
No.
What do we reckon to that? James, yes or no?
No.
Nah, don't need to say any more about that. Dermot, Traore.
No way.
Yes or no?
No way. He'd be great for bodybuilding, but not for playing for us.
Yeah.
I'll just leave him at that.
I'm in the back row of the West Stand on the.
Oh, mate, dangerous.
And I'm going to be in a dangerous position there. He's going to be hitting me more than he's going to be hitting the area. So not for me. Sorry.
No. So no, I mean,
he'd be all right with the baby oil sales, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Oh, definitely sell loads of that. I mean, for me, I think Spence is one for the future, but I think right wing back is easy to upgrade upon. I know a lot of people, but Emerson and Doherty for me are both ones you could upgrade on.
Definitely.
I think you need another centre back, somebody you can play in the middle with instead of Dyer. I'm not saying drop Dyer, but somebody you can compete with him. And when we talk about Zaniolo and Maddison, I don't think Conte will go down that route. I think he would much prefer. I think he's a guy who works on his system all week in training, and I think he'd prefer to bring maybe someone like like Alan St. Maximin. We haven't got anybody like that who will pick the ball up and beat a few players and then lay a ball off and draw players out to make space for anyone. I think he'd prefer a player like that to maybe a Maddison. That's what my thinking is. But yeah,
Jose Dominguez or somebody
like little Jose, yeah, that's little Jose.
Somebody that could just do the unexpected. That's really just get the ball, turn and dribble at people, and and put teams on the back foot.
But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me being an old-fashioned Spurs fan.
Now it's all about keeping the ball and passing it backwards and square, isn't it? It's not. It's not about forward passing as much. It's about possession stats and all that rubbish, and
And I'm not saying St. Maximum's the man. I'm saying to go and get. I sort of, when I was thinking about it, his name came up, and that was it. But yeah, I think we'll make signings. Whether they'll be ones that everybody wants, because we've all got opinion nowadays, haven't we? We're not going to please everyone, but at the end of the day, mate, Conte's and Paratici's job to get the right. Well, Paratici's more to get the right players in. It's Conte's to use them in the right way. The book stops with them. So hopefully we will make a couple more signings and they'll be decent ones. So, right then, what we're going to do is now, first 5 games of the season. Southampton at home, Chelsea away, Wolves at home, Forest away, West Ham away. Now, if you swap Forest for Burnley away last season, those 5 games, we scored 0 points. Awful return. How do you think we are going to fare this time? And I'm going to go to Dermot first, because Dermot, you got to shoot off in a minute, haven't you, mate? So
I'm actually going 13 points out of our first 5 games. I think we'll beat Southampton. I think we'll beat Chelsea, because Chelsea are in disarray.
Brave.
I think it's Forest then, isn't it?
No, Wolves at home then.
Well, we owe one to Wolves, because I went to the stadium for the first time last season and we lost to Wolves, so we beat them.
Yeah.
I think Forest is going to be the tricky one.
Yeah.
I think it might be winnable draw there.
Yeah.
And then who we're playing last? It's
West Ham away.
West Ham. Do you know what? West Ham's always dodgy. That's the one I'm scared of most of all. I'll go for a point there.
Yeah. Okay. You happy with that then? Point away at West Ham. Right then.
I would love us to beat West Ham, but it's just last season keeps coming back to me. When we played them, it just keeps that second goal, their winner, just nightmare. And I just think we always struggle to get them. I hope 15. If we won all 5 of them games, that'd be brilliant. But I think 13 points.
It'd be fantastic, mate.
It'd be a great start for us.
Yeah. Right then, James, what are you thinking? First 5 games, no points from them last year. What are we going to get this year?
Okay. I feel like Southampton should be 3 points. Chelsea away. Always tricky. We always seem to struggle there. But they don't look great at the moment, right? I feel like Conte's defo got a point to prove after how the Carabao Cup games went. I can see that being a draw. The rest of the games I think will win. West Ham, don't think they're much better. I mean, they spent 30 million on Gianluca Scamacca. Apologies to anyone Italian, I've butchered that pronunciation, but he scored 9 goals. Decent. He scored 9 goals last season, or 8 goals. He's a tall bloke, but he didn't score a lot of goals. I mean, we could get
got lots of tattoos. He looks the part.
Well, yeah, but we could sign Kiefer Moore, couldn't we? And he's got similar output. Actually, Kiefer Moore's got way better output, and also his Welsh, so he's cool. No, I think we'll probably get 13 points, but I could be wrong. Chelsea game's the only one I'm a bit dodgy on, because although they've had a poor transfer window, it's a derby. You lose a bit of that innate quality, don't you, in those games? But I think if we got a draw from that and won the other games, is anyone really going to complain about that? No, don't think we would. And honestly, we could win that game, right? I'm just not sure.
Well, it's hard. It's hard when we've got a record as poor as we have at Stamford Bridge, and some of us goes a lot further back. How old are you, James? 19, aren't you?
19, yeah.
Yeah. So, right then, Daz, first 5 games, what are you thinking, mate?
Well, any point's going to be a head start on last season, then, isn't it? I would, again, you've got to go for 6 points for the 2 home fixtures.
Yeah.
But Wolves are always tricky there. They have they're struggling, aren't they, Wolves, with squad depth? I see Neves has been linked away again today with United. I would say the 6 points from home. I think Forest will take a little bit of time to gel. He's a lot of signings, a lot of different from last season. So I'm hoping, we can catch them early doors before they do, because I think he's a good manager as well, Cooper.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate.
And I think so. Hopefully that'll be 9.
Yeah,
and you, at the end of the day, you've got to take a point from
your away
Chelsea
game
or West Ham. So if we got 10, I wouldn't be too down about that. You've got 2 big London derbies away already out of the equation, and then you still got Arsenal coming up quick. October the 1st. So, and then I think we just got to try and get through to the World Cup break in the mix.
Yeah,
and I'm beating on about that early, but just stick with teams. I think it's going to be a lot of teams dropping points early on, and letting squads settle and stuff like that. I'm hoping we're in a better place than some, especially some of the teams, like Chelsea, as we mentioned, and Forest. Their squads early doors in the season, letting them settle. But I think we're in a better position than those 2. I'd love to get 3 points at Chelsea. It's one of my pet hates, never getting anything there.
Yeah.
We've won once there since my 15th birthday in 1990.
Jesus.
So
Lineker scored that, didn't he, Atty?
Lineker and David Owles, yeah.
But I mean, mate,
I'm 15th.
I'm with you. I think 10 points. Like, I think it's just I can't see us beating Chelsea. I know people keep saying they're in disarray and stuff like that, but
they always turn up against us.
They sort of turn up and we shit the bed, don't we? Whenever we play Chelsea,
and West Ham is their cup final. So
West Ham's their cup final. I think we'll get 10 if we beat West Ham and lost to Chelsea. I would take it. I wouldn't want that to happen, but I'm just fed up with turning up at Chelsea and not turning up and not turning up basically. I just think if we are going to go,
just having our belly tickled and roll over and accept that we're going to lose 2 and 3-0 every time. Conte won't accept that. If we're going to do anything, we've got to start getting results. At places like that, and do it on the pitch instead of sort of like mentally being beaten, which is what we are quite often. But so I'm going a win against the Saints. I think we'll beat them. I don't think we'll beat Chelsea. I don't. People are putting them down, and I think they'll just turn up. I think we'll beat Wolves. I think we'll beat Forest. I think, like you said, Ashley, I think it'll be a good game. I think because they'll try and play football, which suits us. If they were to sit back and sort of defend deep, I think we'd struggle. And I'm going early home game for them, and they'll in front of the home crowd and stuff, and want to attack. And I think we can pick them off. I think we should be good enough.
Yeah. And then West Ham, I'm going for a point because, like you said, it's their it's their cup final, and they'll be up for us for it. And
definitely.
Antonio, I know it's like a cliche type thing, but he always gives us trouble, doesn't he, Antonio? He always gets stuck in and gives us trouble.
And they'll be really excited by that week because they'll know who they're going to be playing in that UEFA conference game, won't they? Next
they got
the week after.
They'll be buzzing.
Sorry, I had to nub that in.
Right, Dermot. How much longer are you with us for, mate?
I've got to shoot now because I've got to get ready for my show because we're going about, I think, 10:05 we're going on.
So I'd like to thank you for coming on, Dermot. You've been a good guest. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, mate.
I hope you've enjoyed it on here. Before I'll ask the other guys later, but I'm going to ask you now before you go for your score prediction for the Southampton game.
I'm going for 2-0. I'm going for Kane and Holberg.
Yeah,
that's where I'm going.
Good lad. That's what I like to hear. So hopefully, tell people about your channel. Give your channel a quick plug, Dermot, before you shoot off.
Yeah. You can find me on Tottenham THFC till I die. We do everything from now to old Spurs. We'd go right through the history of Tottenham. We're doing a player profile on Jurgen Klinsmann tonight, which is one of my favourite Spurs players. We had him only for a season, but boy, what a season it was!
What a season that was!
I mean, having Aussie as a manager, everyone attacking. I think I've heard the story that the first team meeting, his words were, "Give the ball to Teddy and everyone attack." And Teddy's sort of looking around. Well, who's going to do the defending? Oh, we're working that later. I mean, Aussie for me, genius little player, but a brilliant.
Anfield in the cup. What a day out that was!
Yeah, it was. It really was.
All I'll say about that period, it was good, mate. But if you were at Notts County away in the cup under Aussie,
I was with you, Matt. I think
that's when you realise enough's enough, Aussie. Do you know what I mean? We got to start.
So true.
Do we trust you?
Yeah. We got to start.
So we'll do everything from that. You can find myself there, Ellie, Philip Brady, Izan, who's our little stats man from Canada. And as well, Mark Cousins. And please all come over. And please, everyone subscribe here. This is a great channel. All the people on here do a brilliant job. I really enjoy your shows. You're absolute. And thank you for having me on tonight. And if you fancy a bit of Spurs back in the day or now, hit the subscription on our channel. We'd be delighted to have you all. And
Dermot, I'm going to tell them to watch your show tomorrow because I don't want to lose half the viewers for my show now. All right, mate.
Well, we're on tomorrow at 7 as well. We're doing our pre-season show tomorrow, so we're on there with David from the Irish Hotspur. So he's on the show tomorrow night. So thanks for having me on. Really enjoyed it, and next time I'll be on for longer, I promise.
No worries. Cheers, Dermot. See you soon, mate.
See you later. See you,
mate.
James and Dan. Thank you very much. See you later.
Cheers for coming on, mate.
Right then, James. We're going to move on now. It's the big day, Saturday, start of the season. We're all buzzing. We can't wait to get going. We're all full of optimism. What's the lineup going to be against Southampton then?
Lloris, obviously. Dyer, Romero, probably Davies, right? Doherty. I think, to be honest, it's going to be the same sort of lineup as last season towards the end. The only difference is going to be Perisic is definitely going to start, right? So probably Højbjerg,
hopefully
Bentancur, Perisic, hopefully. Kane, Son, and Kulusevski. That's going to be the starting lineup, I think, probably. I
think. Go on, sorry, James. I'll cut in on you there. Carry on.
Sorry, I was going to just give a score prediction.
Go on. Well, I was going to ask you. Yeah, that's for later, mate. I'm going to do that for later.
Right. We will hold the suspense then. Right.
So basically, I think he's right. I mean, Richarlison's suspended, isn't he? And Skip's out injured. And there's rumours that Bissouma's carrying a knot.
He's got a bit of a thigh strain, hasn't he? So they won't risk him, I don't think.
So I don't think. So James said his team. What do you think, mate? What are you thinking?
I think it's Hugo. I think it'll be Dyer, Romero, and I think it'll be Longley because Davis hasn't had a full pre-season. And then I think it'll be Perisic and Doherty. Then I think it'll be Højbjerg and Bentancur, and then the usual three up top. So not much difference. Just I don't think Davis is match fit yet. So I think he'll probably he's given Longley a fair bit of pre-season. I think he's probably a little bit more prepared. But we'll see.
You like Langley anyway, don't you, James? You think he's a decent player?
Oh yeah, he's superb on the ball. He's got tremendous passing numbers and forward dribble. I really like Longley. I just didn't think he'd start straight away. Be very happy if he does start. I think Davies and Longley are both excellent options. Slightly different players.
Yeah.
But yeah, Longley's a great player. If he starts, I'm not going to be annoyed about it, right? He offers us that kind of more progressive passing that we almost lack anywhere in our defence or even midfield to some extent. Like Bensko's a little bit different. Basuma could be a little bit different, but yeah,
he likes a couple of those Toby type of balls as well, doesn't he? Back to front quite early.
Side.
Yeah. So Perisic, hopefully. Yeah, definitely.
We miss. So yeah.
I think if the majority of everyone had been fit, I think Perisic would have been the only newcomer who would have started the first game of the season. But I do think Longley will probably start now, just because when he came on against Roma, I thought just having that as somebody with a left foot who's more comfortable on the ball sort of helped us. But I don't think Conte's ever going to make wholesale changes to it. So I think Perisic comes in. A lot of people are saying Doherty, aren't they, right wing back? I'm not 100% sure. I think that's the toss of a coin, whether it's Emerson or Doherty. But you probably find that Doherty gets in forward positions better than Emerson, doesn't he? So
he's got a better final ball, hasn't he?
Wow, it depends.
Well, I know that's debatable, but I think Doherty, from Leicester away, with the last minute winner, from then till sort of Villa away. I was at Villa. He was superb until he got injured.
Yeah.
He just started winning a few people over and getting himself a bit of confidence. A lot like Sessegnon did. As the season progressed and more minutes, he looked more confident, and that's Conte will know from training who's ready and who isn't.
It'll be about fitness.
I think Doherty's had the road to recovery, and he's had the summer of hopefully getting fit. So if it's him or if it's Spence, who knows? But I think he'll go with Spence or Doherty. I don't think he'd go with Royale, to be honest.
What do you think, James? Because I know you obviously picked Doherty at right wing back, didn't you? But is that what you think or what you want?
Bit of both, really, right? The thing is, what the kind of games Emerson's good in are the games where we're going to expect to be the team under pressure, right? Like the Liverpools and the Cities.
Yeah.
We're not going to be under Southampton. I mean, they'll press us in the midfield, right? But, no one's expecting us to, play defensively against Southampton, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be Doherty because he's better in those attacking areas. He gets into the box. He makes those more direct runs. Emerson isn't brilliant going forward. He's really a fullback. Just makes sense that he'd start Doherty as opposed to Emerson. If our first game was Man City away, then I could see him starting Emerson, right? But against Southampton at home, he's going to start Doherty unless he gets an injury in training or something.
Yeah. And are we definitely thinking Perisic? I mean, I'm fully fit and raring to go. I'm having Perisic over Sessegnon all day. But do you think that's what Conte will do? Because he did make mention the other day, didn't he? That that Perisic isn't the Perisic he knows at the moment. So, James, what do you reckon about that? Do you think it's going to be Perisic?
Yes, if only just because I think that's just like a fitness thing, right? And he's getting on a little bit, perhaps. It could just be that maybe Perisic plays one game a week sort of thing, which will be fine at this stage of the season because we have one game a week until for a little bit, right? For a couple of games.
Yeah.
So, I think there's a high probability he'll start. Maybe if we're winning, he comes off in, say, like the 60th minute sort of thing, and Sessegnon comes on. I'd be surprised if Sessegnon starts.
Okay. What do you reckon, Natty? Because with Perisic, I mean, like I know what James is saying with his age and that, but mate, he's fit, isn't he? He is fit as.
He's solid, isn't he? I mean, I would say it's getting the balance right, isn't it? Between when we had Kyle Walker and Rose and stuff like that, it's getting the two that complement each other especially as wing backs. I think obviously when the Champions League starts, I think that'll probably be. He's probably going to say to Sessegnon, look, you'll play in the Premiership at the weekends, and Perisic will start sort of Champions League weeks, or vice versa. That's going to be a position that rotates. And as I said, Perisic as well. He can also come in and play in that front three as well. So we get an injury up top, he can step in there. Sessegnon can bomb on outside him. So you've got options again, but it's getting the balance right, and somebody that's going to complement Perisic the other side, and the same with Sessegnon. I mean, at one point, Sessegnon and Doherty looked quite good together, but leave it to the gaffer. He knows more than me, and he's a winner.
That's it, mate. I mean, you can't draw anything from that Roma game at the weekend, I don't think. I think, I know this sounds silly, but it was a friendly.
I was at a wedding. I didn't even watch it, mate.
But all of the games we've had, that probably looked the most friendly-ish out the lot. You had one team out there, which was Roma, managed by Jose, going out to win. And I think you had a team who were thinking, we're starting next week, so this is getting minutes in our legs.
Even Jose said it was a great training session with some great friends on Instagram. So that tells you what he thought of the whole the whole game.
But we're obviously, as you were up front, Kane, Son and Kulusevski, because Richarlison suspended for... He had that, which is weird because didn't Emerson do that against Arsenal and nothing's been done about it? I'm sure Emerson had a flat. Oh, I may be wrong, but so that's the front three we've got. We've obviously.
I don't think he waved it. He didn't wave it around though. He held it.
Oh, didn't he
hold it down? I don't know.
Yeah, but we've obviously though that's going to be. I think there's no doubt that will be the front three, but that is probably still, even with Richarlison, our best front three, right, Daz?
Yeah. You've got your impact still. You still got your Moura for 20 minutes. And there has been a little bit of chat, hasn't there, about Moura right wing back. I don't know. I don't think that sort of suits him personally. But he's a little terrier, and I wouldn't want us to sell him. I just think, like I said, the priority at the minute, go back to transfers, is we've got to get rid of Winks. As much as I love Winks, he needs a fresh start.
He needs to move on.
And we need Lasauso gone, and we need Ndombele gone. But the problem there is, like I said, is you still got to fill those homegrown quota players. That's why I said earlier we're being linked with Maddison for that reason. I think because if Winks goes, you're sort of replacing him with Maddison, who's an homegrown. It's a difficult one to sort of get the right balance, isn't it?
But James,
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. James, that front three, happy with that, ain't you? Got to be happy with that front three. Shit hot.
One of the best in the world.
Yeah, I'm having that.
Even best striker in the world. One of the best left wingers. I mean, he scored the joint most goals last season, right? And Kulusevski is a brilliant player.
Yeah.
So I mean, unless we sign Lionel Messi, I can't really see a better front three.
No. So here's another one for you then. Obviously, with talk of Basuma and Skip being out, it's going to be Højbjerg and Bentancur, isn't it? But do we think then, if those two are out, do we think Winks is out the equation now? He won't even be on the bench? Do we think it'll be, or do we think he could come back in? Or do you think you're more likely to see like a Harvey White, maybe an Alfie Devine? Or here's another one, Sarr on the bench?
Yeah, I think you're more likely to probably see Sarr than Winksy, because he didn't even take him. He hasn't taken him anywhere. He's basically left him behind, doesn't he?
Yeah.
For training and stuff. So they'll be training away from the group, I would imagine. He's basically told them to find another club, which isn't. I said he gets a lot of stick, Winks, but he's one of us. He's people. I've seen him in the Bernabeu, and he was absolutely different gravy that night. And it's a shame the way it's gone. Yeah, he needs to like Delhi. He's just gone. I don't know what's happened. Just hit a wall and just gone sideways and just not progressed.
Daz, if you're gonna move on,
be perfect. Winksy would be perfect for somebody like Leicester or Palace or somebody like that. Somebody, I think he's a great footballer still. There's a good footballer in there.
If we're going to move on, there's no room for sentiment. No room for sentiment if you're going to move on. Oh, I mean, we've had this chat about Winks till the cows come home. But James, did you find anything out about Sarr? Have you got any information on him, or?
Give me 2 minutes. I will pull out my spreadsheet.
Pull out your spreadsheet for us.
Apologies. When I got in, I literally turned my computer
No
on
worries, mate. Me and Daz will continue to waffle on while you get your spreadsheet up, mate. And but Daz, I mean, so in this mid, I think you've got to go with Sarr, haven't you? Because I can't see Winks being brought in sort of from the cold, really. And there's no way Ndombele or Lo Celso are going to be brought in. So
I mean, at the end of the season, he had Devine and White were on the bench numerous times, weren't they? So and sort of introducing them to the group. So
White's done all right in the little sort of cameos I've seen him play, but I think he's more than Sarr seems to have had a little bit more game time than him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Even though there's talk of him moving on loan to AC Milan and stuff like that, but I think he's the one that could possibly get on the bench and maybe come in, because I mean, I'm not saying they've hurt us, but the Basuma and Skip injuries has left us light, hasn't it? So when people are talking about this other midfielder coming in, you just see what an injury or two, no matter how good, what when you're
playing 3 games in sort of 7-8 days, it's that's when you start dropping points, and you need a 24-25 man squad. So because we need another body in there. And like I said, the injuries, you're going to get a suspension and an injury and stuff, and you're at the bare bones again. So
I think Højbjerg's his man. I think Højbjerg's every manager.
Again, people forget about Højbjerg, but he did well. I'm not a massive Pierre fan, if I'm honest. I'm not against him in any way. I think he has his limitations. He gives everything, and at the end of the day, he leaves everything on the pitch, and sometimes that's all you can ask from players.
Right?
We can all have our favourites, or
exactly, mate. That's what it's about. Opinions is what it's about, isn't it?
I'm not a massive slagger of players, as you know. I'm just he has his limitations, and he scored a couple more goals than I actually expected from him last year. But
I like Pierre. I like him. But I mean, James, have you got some info for us then on Sarr? What he could offer?
Yeah. So when we take a look at his stats, he completes around double the dribbles per 90 compared to a player like Bentancur, who's one of our more progressive dribblers. Yeah. He completes around 4.61 progressive carries a game. That's better than Bentancur. He creates 2.37 shot creating actions a game. So that's like a pass or a dribble that leads directly to a shot, right? So very much what you see from those figures is a guy who gets the ball and he tries to drive forward, which is quite crucial because that's what we really struggle with sometimes. I mean, defensively, his numbers are all right. They're worse than our midfielders at the moment, but that's possibly somewhat down to the league he's playing in and under the manager he's playing in. When you look at his passing numbers, they're all right. Like his pass completion in the 80s. He only attempts about 40 passes per match, whereas Bentancur is about 60 or so. Again, it probably got up onto Conte, right? But very much what you see is this is a guy who attempts a lot of dribbles, completes a reasonable amount for a midfielder, and he does take the ball and go forward, right? And he does try to progress the ball forward. 3 progressive carries a game, like 1 less than Bentancur, but he is still trying to take the ball forward. That's very much what it indicates. So statistically, it doesn't seem like he's quite ready yet, but his numbers do indicate that he's more of a aggressive box-to-box player than one of the more defensive midfielders that we have at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I think he'll be on the. Talking of Bentancur, I don't think he's found his range in pre-season yet. I've seen him a couple of times, and the passes he was making last year have been cut out, or do you know what I mean? He hasn't hit his target. So hopefully he gets that in order for the weekend. I mean, there's no way Sarr's going to start over Højbjerg or Bentancur. That will be the midfield too, won't it, Daz?
Yeah, definitely.
Tried and tested.
Yeah. There's another name I was going to chuck into the mix.
Yeah.
Is Gil. Is still.
Yeah, he's still knocking about.
Could he be used in a role sort of taking over from Kulu or Son, possibly?
Maybe. Yeah. I think if he's going to come on, Daz, that's where he'll come on.
Yeah. And I I like the kid. I do. I mean, what I saw. I mean, I think Valencia were ranting and raving about him. Obviously, when he went back, he's got to develop again. There's another one that's. I mean, I saw somebody tweet saying he's got to be our worst signing ever. I was like, well,
Shout out.
you obviously don't remember Tremezani and
Razia.
Toda and Mabuzela and people like that. But yeah,
Samovic.
Yeah,
we can go on all night.
We could go on all night.
Yeah,
but it's just another name that is he? You know, is he going to go out on loan, or do you think he could be part of in a front three and as a backup?
Well,
with Mora, you know, either side.
I've seen. I wouldn't want to see a forward line of Mora, Hill, and Richarlison. Say that is,
No.
in my opinion, if we were in the Conference League, yeah, I wouldn't want to see that.
But for the last 20 minutes to stretch teams, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he can run. He can run all day. Hill, what I've seen him, and he gets across the pitch. I would like. He's another. But obviously, it depends on. I'd like to see him go to maybe like a Brighton or a Forest or somewhere like that and get some games. Have a Premiership loan. And if he can get 25 Premier League games, even starts, fantastic for him. And just get that season ball. Because I think there's, people say this all the time, but I think there is a player in there. I think you can see it. But what we're not seeing is he sort of does all these bits and pieces and does get all the running and he does all the stuff you want him to do. And then at the end of it, there's nothing. You don't get any.
He suits a different formation as well, doesn't he? I don't think he probably suits a Conte formation. I think he's more of a winger than an actual front three player.
Yeah.
So
you got any opinions on Hill, James?
I mean, he looks like Johan Cruyff.
Yeah.
His output hasn't been brilliant in Spain, but then he's been injured, right? Difficult to say he's young, so it's kind of hard to pass judgment on a guy who's young, comes to a different league, been injured. I'm sure he'll develop. There's obvious talent there. I mean, you say about front three of Lucas, Richarlison, and Gill. I mean, could they do it against Morecambe Town?
Hopefully.
They probably could, right?
We couldn't get Middlesbrough.
Well, the thing is, right, like when you add a player like Richarlison, who's obviously very skilled, you look at a guy like Lucas, who's very quick, you look at a guy like Gill, there's obvious talent there. But they're good enough for an FA Cup couple first round game, which they'll probably end up going to. And they're good enough for a Carabao Cup first couple round game, and it gives Kane and Son and Kulusevski a rest.
Yeah.
Or it might even be Kulusevski with a couple of those guys.
Yeah.
There's certainly options. I can see them coming off the bench in games. Gill maybe. He's obviously a pre-season, so Conte obviously sees something there. Same with like Lucas, right? He's quick. He runs at teams. He obviously works hard. He obviously likes playing for Tottenham.
Yeah.
We saw in Amsterdam. He can have an impact in big games. I remember him scoring after that season against City with a header at the Etihad. Like, he can have an impact, even if I don't think he's going to start every game. Gill, there's obviously something in him. Maybe in a year or two, we start to see him develop, and we think, crikey, this lad's really good. So, I think there is something in all of them, really.
I think Hill needs to play some games. Like, I don't think we're going to be able to facilitate the amount of games he needs to progress, unless he sort of looks out, gets a game, and gets a good performance, and then they bring him in. I think he needs some games, and I think he needs more game time than what we're probably going to offer him. But it's no good sending him back to Spain, where he comes from. And
he needs to stay in England, doesn't he? And,
100%. Yeah,
and get kicked a little bit, and toughen up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
we got a couple of people here, mate, who were saying, "Look, Hill to Brighton in the hope he pushes on," and then we got King Oddle saying Hill would suit Brighton. I absolutely agree. I think that'd be a good move.
They
but
play
obviously,
football, don't they?
Yeah, we can't leave ourselves short though. So
no, this is the problem, isn't it? You need a strong bench that covers all the positions.
This is why slightly on the transfers again, we're saying, look, you've got Son, Kane, Kulusevski. Then you'd have Richarlison, Lucas. I think because we play three, I think we still could possibly do with, if an opportunistic signing comes up, I think we could do with one more. I mean, if Hill's going to be that man. Yeah. I mean, if Hill's going to be that man to fulfill that role, then, and Conte's going to roll the dice with him, then that's what we do. But I could possibly see Hill going out on loan and us getting
Last
someone
minute,
in, a deal that comes up. You know, I know this that we've mentioned this before, but I don't know what your thoughts on it are, Daz, or can't remember what yours are, James. But someone like Depay, I think if you could get his attitude right and he bought in like Richarlison has, which I don't think he would, but I think he'd be a decent signing to cover roles in that front as a front six player. I mean, what do you think to that, Daz? Not keen, are you?
Well, I wasn't keen. He was awful at United, wasn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Maybe he was too young then. Maybe he's, like you said, he's gone away and
he didn't have a good time there, did he?
I think with Depay, I sort of always put him in that like a Ravel Morrison type of.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a fly by night that never settles anywhere, never actually progresses or give you a flash of magic, and you think, wow, and then he does nothing for the next 3 weeks, and you think, well, I'm still waiting. You want that somebody on the edge of your seat, I'll go back. Obviously, I'm an old man now, but like Zaniolo or Gaza or something that you should get you on the edge of the seat. We don't have that in the team.
No.
We haven't had that now for years.
No.
Not probably since Bale that we've had somebody that will get you twitching and having people tell you to sit down behind because you're up and
Even
down.
Lennon.
Yo.
Even Lennon, mate. Once he got the ball.
Yeah, I loved Lennon. He had an end product. People used to slag him off for his crossing and whatever. But what he did was he just dropped the shoulder, turned and ran at players. Paul Walsh, I go back to, and people like Paul Allen, they used to just get the ball and just drive into the last third of the pitch. That's somebody we need, somebody to carry the ball, like James just said.
Yeah.
Somebody to travel and take the ball with them progressively from midfield to the front three. We don't have that in the team. That's where we need to improve, and we will improve our creativity then. That's that's my opinion.
What are you saying, James, about that? Obviously, we've gone off topic a little bit, but somebody like Depay. I have as well, mate. Somebody like Depay coming in and he'll go in, out and getting some game time. What do you think to that?
I think Depay is pretty solid, right? Like, you say he had a bad time at United, Darren, but like everyone at United had a bad time then, basically.
Very true. Yeah.
Like, he always did all right for the Netherlands, and he did all right. He did pretty good in France, although that's not saying much. Florian Thauvin did pretty good in France, right? So, he went to Barcelona, and as bad as Barcelona's recruitment is, they don't sign a guy if he's total crap.
What about that Braithwaite? He's pretty doggo.
Well, that was a very unique situation because they actually signed him outside of the transfer window. They got a unique rule to sign him outside of the transfer window.
And now they're trying to striker.
That was really strange. But aside from that, and although they've made some bad acquisitions, a lot of the players they've signed, there's been obvious talent. There is obvious talent in Depay, right? He can play outside. He can play at centre forward. I don't think he's going to come to Spurs, but I think he's a good player. He's certainly a good option. He's probably as good as Richarlison, right?
Yeah.
So
like I say, I digress. So it comes Saturday, 2:00. The team comes out. Are we going Lloris in goal? Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
definitely.
Right wing back. Who will we saying? James.
Doherty.
Darren. Doherty. I think he'll play Emerson. So we'll go with Doherty. We'll go with the majority. Left wing back. I'm going Perisic.
Same.
Yeah. So that's it. And then middle of midfield, Højbjerg, Bentancur.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we ain't got, by the sounds of it, we ain't got much choice. So, and then obviously front three. So that's what we're going with, lads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Game on then, isn't it? Game on. We should win.
Seems we've got a majority here. The eyes have it. Where's the speaker?
Right there. So what we'll do a score prediction before we leave. So what predictions we'll go into now is our predictions for the season. So first one's going to be Spurs, where they're going to finish. And I think I'll go to James first. Where Spurs going to finish this year, mate?
Third.
Yeah. And what's your sort of like reasoning behind that? Where they're going to finish above? Why aren't they going to finish higher? Why won't they finish lower?
I still think City and Liverpool are probably like a bit too good, right? The Community Shield game showed us that Liverpool are actually very good. I think City are still going to be a monster in the league. They're just going to win games, even if we can beat them and remain unbeaten against them in Liverpool, which we did last season, right? I think they're just going to win a lot of games, so they're going to be in and around there. I think we're going to be a lot closer to them than we were last season, but I think there's still going to be a few points gap. It's not going to be like a ridiculous gap, like 20 points, but I think it's still going to be like 10-ish, but it's going to be a big reduction in that. I think we're going to jump a place because I think Chelsea have regressed a little bit and we've improved a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, King Model. I mean, if both of them had like really bad injuries or they were both really going far in the Champions League and the Cups, I could see us sneaking into that title race, you know? But safe prediction, third.
Okay. Third. Daz, hit me with your prediction, mate. Where are Spurs going to finish?
The quadruple's on, isn't it?
Yeah. I knew you come up with something like that.
I'm always like this in August.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my head on over my heart here.
Yeah. We want head predictions, mate, not heart predictions.
Yeah, I think we'll finish. I think we'll finish fourth.
Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal are making so much noise, aren't they? I mean, their fan base is embarrassing. But
yeah,
I think the top four will be the same in the same order. I don't see United and Arsenal breaking into it for the simple reason of we know how tough it is. Thursday night, Sundays, you're playing after everybody. You know, you're playing over in Kazakhstan on a Thursday night or whatever, and then you've got to fly back and then get a team ready for the Sunday of a 12 o'clock kickoff. Doesn't work, you know, and that's where you need. It's all right saying Arsenal got a strong first 11, but I just don't see, you know, a couple of injuries, a couple of suspensions, whatever. I don't see them or United, unless United can gel and, you know, sort out the Ronaldo situation. And then you've got West Ham, are obviously still, again, Thursday night league. It's very difficult to break out of that mould and break the top four and just concentrate on the league games. And they're going to come thick and fast as well before the World Cup. So I'd put us in possibly to finish third, like James said, maybe ahead if Chelsea do capitulate, which I would absolutely love, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just think we're comfortably top four. And like you said, I think the gap to City and Liverpool will be a lot closer. And I think it'll be a lot closer all round this time round. I'd accept, I'm an old school mate. I would, if you could say to me fourth and an FA Cup now, I'd snap your hand off.
Yeah,
I'd even say fifth in an FA Cup, I'd snap your hand off.
No, I don't think, but I don't think that.
No, I want silverware, mate. I'm too long in the tooth to be waiting for trophies here.
Hang on, you actually remember Spurs winning trophies?
I do. I know you don't. I know that.
Last time we won a trophy, I was fucking 5 years old, 5 or 6, right? I was 5. I was walking around in like primary school.
That's what we need,
right? Okay.
That's why we need to win trophies, James.
Yeah,
that's why we
will.
I mean, I'm not as old school as Darren. I wouldn't take fifth in the trophy. I want both. The top teams finish top four and win trophies, mate, and that's what we're aiming to be. So,
mate, I think the FA Cup should take the fourth place, Champions League place, but there you go. That's a different story.
Yeah. But I think we'll finish fourth. I know people keep harping on about Chelsea, but they've still got some fucking decent players.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we've got to beat that. Like that. We'll see. Get match day 2 when we play them. What it's all about, won't we? You know, we're doing
hopefully we can catch them cold turkey and hopefully get a result there.
I don't think thirds out of our reach.
No,
but I just think we'll probably, because it will be difficult now. You know, Conte's not used to. He's not great with 2 matches a week historically. He likes to be on the training ground. He's not
a rotator, is he? He's not a rotator.
So, you know, and so towards the end of the season, we could end up being like stronger when we're playing. If we were just playing once a week. Yeah. Go on, James.
Can I just make a point about Chelsea actually and why I think they'll fall off? Conte's form towards the second half of last season was like really poor. His numbers dropped substantially.
Yeah.
He played a lot worse. You look at their midfield; most of them are aging. Conte's certainly aging. He's on a downward decline, it seems. He didn't go to America with the with Chelsea because of vaccination status. Because like Jorginho, who are getting on a bit. The midfield's aging. And they've lost Rudiger. The only it seems something faffed up with Azpilicueta because who knows what's going on there. And you look at their front line, I think it's going to take them a bit of time to work that out, right? Like with Havertz and
Tuchel's decent, though. Tuchel's decent.
He's a good manager, but with new pieces who don't exactly fit, it takes a bit of time to work out, right? And when you don't have your entire squad with you in pre-season, it's going to take a bit of time. So I can see them struggling a little bit at the beginning of the season. They're gonna probably know they don't have a chance of winning the leagues. They're gonna push for the cups because they got to 2 cup finals and lost in penalties, which is really unfortunate. They're going to push for one of those. They're going to push for the Champions League. So I can see them slipping behind us, thinking, okay, we've still got 4th. If we can get a cup, go far in the Champions League, that's a really solid season. I get that. I would feel the same, right? But I can see them slipping away a little bit, struggling at the beginning of the season, slipping towards the end just because they're going far in the cups. By no means do I think they'll be bad, but I can see them slipping behind us a smidge in the league.
It's difficult for like people like me, my age, maybe and a bit older, because winning trophies is what it's all about. But to modern day managers, and they obviously do want to win trophies, but it's about playing in the Champions League. It's about winning the league. I think Conte will want to win the league. So I think he will do whatever he can, which will probably mean we'll finish top 4. But whether we'll be able to sustain a challenge in the trophies as well will be tough. But yeah, I think we'll finish 4th. So we've got 2 4ths and a 3rd, haven't we? For Spurs will finish. So right then, so top 6 order. I think we've pretty much, like me and Daz, we've both said who you going top, Daz? City or Liverpool?
City. I think will have too much for everybody. With Haaland, I just don't. They just crush everybody. I think, to be honest.
Yeah, and then Liverpool.
Yeah.
Chelsea, Spurs, haven't you? Because you've obviously said that before.
Yeah.
So we said top 6 then. So who's finishing just outside the top 6 then, mate? Who are your 2 teams, 5th and 6th?
Newcastle and Forest. No, I just want to wind up Gooners. It's going to be Arsenal and United, I think, isn't it? Possibly Newcastle as well.
Yeah,
I think he's a great manager. He's such an underrated manager. He just gets the job done at Newcastle. The second half of the season, their stats were unbelievable. The only real game they lost when we battered them 5-1 at the Lane.
They lose to good teams, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. But some of the results, beating Arsenal at the end of the season, they didn't just beat Arsenal; they absolutely pulverised them. I'll just, with no European intervention there as well, they could have it could be a side to really be reckoned with. I tell you,
I think they could do with doing a little bit more business, couldn't they, Dal? I don't think they've done.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more in the midfield. You don't want to be relying on people like Shelby and stuff, do you?
I think Gourmet is a really good player.
Great signing. Great. See, that's the type of player as that aggressive midfielder that would be perfect for us. As you mentioned on Saint-Maximin, but I don't see the top 6 changing much. I think Newcastle will be a bit closer, but there's going to be a little bit of, you've got always the same. You've got 3 teams come in. Our biggest problem is we traditionally struggle against the bottom 5 or 6. We always have done. I'll go back to Swindon, Jan Åge Fjortoft in the early 90s. We always seem to lose those sort of silly points. We've always done it. Bradford,
Yeah. We can't break the teams down.
No, we struggle against them. So that's going to be the big key for us. Is we can pick the points up against those 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And like you say, go to Chelsea with no fear. Go to Arsenal in October with no fear. And
that's what we need to do, mate. No fear against these teams. We're better than them. Let's stamp our authority on it. James,
we always give teams a head start, don't we?
Yeah.
5th and 6th, mate.
Oh, Liverpool. I'm joking.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, because Nottingham Forest is going to win the league, actually, and then 2 European Cups in a row, actually.
That'd be fantastic.
I'd love that.
You're too young to remember that.
Well, I'll have you know, I managed them in Football Manager and did that.
Yeah.
United and Arsenal.
Yeah, you going with them? Who 5th?
United.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, I think both of them can improve substantially. The problem is that Chelsea are too much ahead of them.
Yeah.
And we've improved more, and we were already ahead of them. Had we made 0 signings, we've still improved from where we started last season, because we had a full Conte pre-season, and we'll have Conte for the whole season, right? So we've still improved in some capacity or another. Plus the signings we've made, we've really kicked on. Hard to say between United and Arsenal. Problem with Arsenal is, while I think their first 11 is probably stronger, they're going to really look to go far in the cups, and they have like 0 depth. I think United will probably get Frankie de Jong done at some point. Apparently the reason that deal's taking so long is because Barcelona want part of the deal to be that United pay all of the wages that he was some of the wage. Yeah, he was owed, which is ridiculous.
They're
right?
a joke club at the minute, Barcelona, aren't they? But that's a different story.
If that gets done, they also sign Martinez, right? Ten Hag's starting to get the team he wants. I can see them kind of saying, whatever to the cups and really pushing for top 4 if they have a good start to the season, which I think they could do. And, I can see them really pushing Arsenal. But that's going to be an interesting microcosmic battle between them, if I'm honest. But yeah, I think United might have a smidge more, because if Arsenal go far in the Europa League, right, they're in the quarterfinals, semi-finals, much like West Ham were last season, they're going to think, oh, well, we could be in a final here. So, we'll drop a player or 2 for the league. Then they throw away a couple of results. They drop behind a position. Because 5th, 6th doesn't really make a big difference, right? And in that case, they might do that to try to go further in the Europa League. I mean, hopefully they'd still lose anyway. But I can see that happening, right? But it's really. Yeah.
So we pretty much sort of all agree who's going to be in and around there. So, I don't think this is going to be much of a discussion. You'd probably go 1 or 2. Top goal scorer for Spurs. I'm going Kane. I think he'll smash it this year. I think he's got Tottenham goal scoring record in his sights. He's got the England goal scoring record in his sights, and he'll smash one, and he'll probably get extremely close to the other. So, Darren, who are you going with?
Okay,
good man.
Kane.
James,
Kane.
Unanimous. He looks in good shape. He looks in good shape, doesn't he?
Yeah. As long as he doesn't get an injury, which I don't think he will, because he's going to be rested for games against Morecambe, then I think he'll get it right. If not him, it'll be Son.
He's looking in good shape, and I know we always used to say he gets this injury, and last season he never really started. The start of the season was very slow for him, wasn't it? But I think this season, I think Conte's fitness team are good, and I think he like you said, James. I think if the 70 minutes are gone and Spurs are winning, and it's all right, and I know he probably won't want to, but you can bring him off because you've got Champions League, or you do it in a Champions League game for the weekend. I think we're going to have that luxury with Richarlison, which we haven't had before, and I think he's just got to. I think he'll get his goals. I think he's just got to sort of, have those minutes saved in his legs towards the end of games and stuff like that. And I think he'll still start 30-plus league games for Spurs, mate. He'll still start the majority of them. But,
if he starts 30-plus league games, he'll easily score 25-plus goals, right?
Yeah. So. What do you rent to that, Atty?
Yeah, I would say 38 league games he'll start, and Champions League. Rest him in the nondescript. Yeah, and as I said to you as well, though, you've got that luxury, like you just said with Richarlison. But if we are struggling in games, and we're trying to stretch teams, he'll stick with Richarlison on, and then he'll stick Kane in the hole. And Kane will pick. Richarlison's going to get you penalties because he's a diving little dirtbag, isn't he? At times,
yeah.
And Kane's going to get. He's going to get. I think he's going to get 25, 30 goals this season. And, soon he'll be on Shearer's record. By the end of the World Cup, he'll be England's top goal scorer. And then people can still moan at him and say he's never won anything, but I think he's content.
Here's one for you.
Spurs now, so.
Here's one for you, James, and I'll come to you on this first. How many goals would Kane score if he could take a free kick? I think he's the world's worst free kick taker.
Didn't he score pre-season?
Mate, that hit someone. That was a shocking free kick.
I'll have you know, I've actually scored a free kick in an official FA game. So I've scored more free kicks than Harry Kane has in official games.
Get you to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium Saturday then, when there's one just outside the 18-yard box. Because if Kane stood over it, I'll literally.
Matt, if I'm behind the goal, it's going to hit me. I'm scared. I don't want to be hit by that. It's like a Musa Sissoko shot. I'm scared. Please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. No.
Can Perisic take free kicks?
I think everybody in that team can take free kicks better than Kane, mate.
Dyer can take free kicks. Do you remember his
Dyer?
Yeah.
England against
what about
Russia?
Son? What about Son took 2 in the international breaks?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
From 2 of them, yet he's nowhere near them. I can't work it out. I can't work it out.
Let Hugo Lloris take the
pulling rank.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he says, I think every time a free kick comes up, I think in his mind he thinks, I fancy this. I really fancy this. And then it literally just fucking hits the wall. Or
Kane's the type of player, he's if he has time to think about it, he's probably a bit dangerous. He just needs to when he doesn't think about it and he's through on goal and then he pulls the trigger like that, that's when he's dangerous, and but free kicks is not his thing. He's got time to think about it and it ends up...
it's all right, mate. I think he's probably better off taking them from further back or out wide. Do you know what I mean? When he can get some real whip on it, or literally just absolutely find a small and put your foot through it because he can strike a ball. But mate, on the whole, he's got to be off them. We need him in the box off the bits. Yeah. And last one for the predictions: surprise player for Spurs this season. Is there going to be a player that's going to sort of, that's going to break like Davis did last year, sort of break out of the squad? James?
Well, if I could predict it wouldn't really be a surprise, would it?
Well, predict, you know what I mean. Who could surprise us then? Yeah.
Maybe Lucas, mate. No, I'm not going to say that. I reckon that Longley will surprise a lot of people because a lot of people aren't really behind Longley. And because I rate him, I'm going to say Longley is going to surprise a lot of people by how good he is.
Good. I like that. Daz?
I think Spence.
I
think Spence, it'll be second half of the season, if anything, but I think I watched the game against Arsenal in the Cup for Forest. Yeah. And he just controlled the whole game. And to control the game from a right wing back position is quite Arsenal just didn't know what to do with him. I think there's a really, really good talent in there. Defensively, maybe have to work on him a little bit, but to make sure he's still doing this. Yeah, exactly, to do his job. But I think end product's good with him. And the other one, I think Perisic, because I think he's still, like you said, he's absolutely ripped and he's fit as a fiddle for, I hear Gooners going, he signed a 33-year-old washed up. Well, they signed Willian and what have you, and
he was toilet for them as well, weren't he?
Yeah, Willian. Exactly. I just didn't even try, did he, on the wage he was on? But Perisic, I watched him. Well, you were with me up at Rangers, and he was on it from the minute he came on the pitch. He was telling people where to be. Yeah. He was dictating what needed to be done, and he knows this system inside out. From Inter Milan days and stuff. So I think he'll contribute. A good 7 or 8 goals. I think, and he'll
possibly
have some
more,
assists. Mate. Yeah, possibly. Like I said to you, he can come inside a little bit, and late on you can tuck him in and bring Sessegnon on, overlapping him. You've got loads of options there,
So are you going Perisic or Spence?
I'll go Spence first because of the longevity of having him. He's a young kid. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people giving the signing of Spence much time, but I see a really good player there. Just hopefully the problem is again, same as like we said earlier, like moving to London, and hopefully that doesn't distract him. And
No.
He's a young kid, and it can easily be a distraction for him. But hopefully, he won't have time. He'll be too busy playing 3 games a week. Hopefully.
I mean, I'm with James. I think I know I've not watched loads of Longley, but I've seen bits and pieces, and I think in the games where we have got the ball, his ability to bring the ball out along with Romero, so you've got it on the left and on the right. Not saying Davis can't do that. I think Ben Davis has been fantastic, but I think he's going to be the player that a lot of people. I mean, he only played 45 minutes against Roma, and people were going, "Oh, doesn't he look good there?" I think Longley's going to be. I think he's going to come in and do well for us. I think he's going to be a lot better. People just see it alone. A guy who's had a shit time at Barcelona coming to Spurs on a loan, they want rid of him, and they just see it as like a cheap option. I think he'll be a decent sort of.
It's quite significant that Barcelona haven't given us the option to buy, so that says that they still want him. They just
they think there's a player there. Yeah,
exactly,
and get his head right.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a lot to prove as well to both.
Yeah,
himself as well.
So where right then, James? Saturday, where are you watching the game, mate? Because you're not working anymore, are you? So will you be watching it anywhere on a dodgy stream or anything?
Oh, what are you talking about? We do not endorse dodgy streams on the.
So you'll be watching Jeff Stelling in the lads. We are watching the results come in.
You watch the game officially. We do not endorse piracy at all.
But
I will be hiring a helicopter to watch the game from above the stadium.
Fair play.
Okay.
Well, enjoy that.
I will be.
So I'll be going with Atty. Obviously, he's the chair of the Worcestershire Spurs. So we're going there Saturday with Worcestershire Spurs, aren't we, Atty? What's that all about then? Let people know about the old Worcestershire Spurs Supporters Club, mate.
Yeah, it's just some. We started when we left the old stadium, and we did the year at Wembley as from a couple of areas picking up, and then we set up for the start of the new season at the new ground. And I think the first coach we had about 18, 20 of us, something like that, and but the numbers have grown. The interest has grown, and we've got about 150 odd members now. Completely sold out. First 2 coaches, 57 seaters for the first 2 home games, which is fantastic. It's a 3-hour coach drive, and with the emissions charge and petrol prices and parking in London, 30 quid for an adult, 15 quid for a junior. It works. Everybody gets there safely. Toilet on board. A bit of music at the back of the coach. Have a laugh with mates. And those 3 hours fly by, So it's gone really well. The lads who are involved with it have been fantastic. And, it's official supporters club, so we get an allocation of tickets. We've got half of the coaches sort of season ticket holders, and then we get an allocation of 25. And that sort of just fills the coach up nicely. So it's gone really well. And doing well on the pitch has obviously helped numbers as well. So
yeah. And we've had like obviously yourself, Daz. You do sort the Legends nights out, don't you, for Worcestershire Spurs? So like obviously, yeah. James, we had Ledley. You had Ledley King, haven't you? That's one from your era, isn't it, James? Ledley. But
yeah, he's brilliant, Ledley.
Tell us about the one coming up. We've got Chrissy Waddle, haven't we?
Yeah. So for because obviously supporters club, we're official supporters club, non-profitable. We've been raising funds over the last 3 years for a local autism charity. What makes you different makes you beautiful. Well, this year we just did a little bit. Our treasurer Ollie he ran the London sort of like half marathon, 13 miles. Raised money for prostate cancer. I did the 100-mile bike ride in May for prostate cancer. A couple of other lads, one did 200 miles and the other one did 300 miles on an exercise bike. And we've raised about $4,500 so far. And then to top it off, we've got, as the finale of it, we've got an evening with Chris Waddle at Worcester County Cricket Club, 30th of September, which is going to be really good. And all money raised is going to go to prostate cancer, which, is obviously worthwhile cause, and hopefully we can get that up towards the 6-7 grand mark overall. I'm going to get my mullet wig ready to wear and have a picture with him, I think.
So I'll be getting that. Obviously, it's in Worcester. A lot of people won't. It's too far from. But anybody who does live near,
anybody interested,
who wants this, I'll put it up on my socials. Look for Darren on his social media or Facebook, Worcestershire Spurs, and you can join in there. But so basically, then James, we got Southampton on Saturday. What's your score prediction, mate? 5-0.
Yeah.
Care to throw a couple of scorers in there?
Kane, Son, Kulusevski, Perisic.
Right then. Daz, give us your prediction.
I'll go 3-1. We never keep a clean sheet. We might even go behind. But I think 3-1. I think Kane at the double.
Yeah.
And I'll go with Kula as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I predict
3-1. Yeah.
I've predicted 3-1. There's no way Son won't score. He always loves like a first game of this. Do you know what I mean? And I think you're right. I think Kane's buzzing. He'll score. I fancy him score 2. Go on, James.
Southampton play really attacking football. They've lost like 9-0 multiple times.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit back against us. We're going to have a pretty easy time getting in behind. We're going to score quite a lot of goals. Maybe they'll score, but we're going to score 3 or 4 or 5, maybe even 6, right? I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
We thought this last season when they did this at the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's different now, and we're going to win every game, aren't we? So be positive, Darren. Be positive.
Yeah, we're all positive here at the minute, mate. They've got a lot of young players, haven't they, Southampton? I look at their team at the minute. I can't really think of any sort of like, obviously James Ward-Prowse.
Kyle Walker-Peters. Why did we sell him?
Because he's all right, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's all right.
Yeah, but we talk about Royal and
he's on there. Yeah, I agree with you there, mate. I agree with you there.
He's better than that, So we progressively went backwards right back
for a long time since Walker. But look, Southampton at home. If we've got any aspirations of finishing very, very high up the league or even winning it, we are gonna have to beat Southampton at home, aren't we? No doubt.
Definitely, yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah. James, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Southampton done some interesting business. Sakura Mara's come in. He looks interesting. But we're going to win. It's at home. Players are going to be buzzing. Players particularly are going to be, particularly in midfield, right? We've been to Kurin, Højbjerg. There's, incoming players. Skippy's going to come back soonish, hopefully.
Yeah.
And, as a player, you're going to want to prove yourself under Conte, with Champions League football, all that jazz coming up, all that good stuff. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to be raring to go. Conte's going to want a nice, simple, clean sheet and a win. Kick off the season before the Chelsea game. Yeah, we're going to win. Southampton, I like Hasselhoodle. I like the football they play, but it's very much kamikaze style, right? This is the plan, and if it doesn't go well, we lose 9-0. So I can see us battering them a little bit because we're better than we were last season, infinitely better, and we're going to win. Simple as.
Well, on that note, James, thanks for that. Thanks for coming back from your evening out to have a chat with us tonight. It's greatly appreciated.
Certainly welcome. I apologise to you, to Darren, and to everyone else that I was late. But I was having a lovely meal with my work colleagues.
We can always wait for you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. That puts my heart at ease. Thanks for having me on as ever. You've done a great job tonight, Matt. And hope to see you, all of you lovely people, soon again.
Same time next week for me and you, James. And over to Darren. Daz, thanks for coming on, mate. Brilliant guest. Great knowledge of Spurs. And I am looking forward to seeing you in the flesh, 9:00 sharp, Saturday morning.
Bring your wallet, yeah? Sure, one.
Yeah, will do, mate. And on that note, all I've got left to say is, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.